Hello all, and welcome to another edition of Institutional Effectiveness Tips, brought to you by Weave. Today, we're going to take a look at how to select an assessment tool. With so many choices out there, it can be frustrating when looking at the appropriate assessment tool to use. So, where do you start? First, you think about your goal. Then, ask yourselves these next three questions. What am I trying to assess? What questions am I trying to answer? And what type of data do I need? So let's look at each one. What are you trying to assess? What behavior, attitude, skill, or disposition are you looking at? What questions do you want to answer? Do you want to know how well students improved over time? Do you want to know if they attained a skill? Or are you looking at perceptions and thoughts? And lastly, do you want direct data or indirect data? Do you want formative or summative data? Do you want to know what happened towards the end of the program or along the way? Let's take a look at critical thinking. So, let's go through the questions. We already know what we're trying to assess. That's critical thinking. The question I'm trying to answer is that I want to know how well students are critically thinking at the end of their program. So what data do I need? Well, probably direct data, direct evidence of critical thinking, but also something summative since it's towards the end of the program. What assessment tool is going to give me answers to those questions? Probably not a multiple choice test. Although sometimes used to assess critical thinking, it's not a great assessment of how well students think. And I could ask students how well they think they critically think, but that's not a direct piece of evidence either. Next, we could take a look at artifacts, case studies, or reflections, and if we applied a rubric, this might be a very good assessment of critical thinking. Now, let's take another example. Impact of a program, maybe a student services program. I want to know how well students appreciate diversity at the end of the Tunnel of Oppression program. And I want to know if their attitudes or behaviors have changed after going through the tunnel of oppression. What data do I need? Probably more indirect data, but we'll see. I could ask them a multiple choice quiz about their attitudes or behaviors. I'm not sure if that exactly gets at what I'm looking for. I could do a survey, right? I could ask them their perceptions and thoughts about the tunnel of oppression and how it changed their attitudes and behaviors. I could have them write a reflection or an artifact and use a rubric. Or I could do focus groups. Here, there really isn't a wrong answer. Some of it may depend on time or resources. So, in short, there are many different assessment tools that you can use. But if you ask yourself those three questions and keep an eye on your goal, you can discern which assessment tool is the best for you. Now that you've walked through how to choose an assessment tool, I hope that you'll join us for webinars, courses, or workshops we're offering later in the season. Please check out our resource center for more information. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.